When you stop there, everything else is everything else. And it's great, but it's everything else. Hey, so you know this one. This one has been on every encouraging post you can find on Instagram and Facebook and all over the place. So it's not like it's one of those hidden scriptures in the Bible that, oh, let's talk about this because I found it. That's not what this is. This is Jeremiah 29:11. And it's well known, as I said, and it's always shared in this encouraging and it's okay and blah, blah, blah. And I get it. And I'm not saying no on that at all. So Jeremiah 29:11 in Net Bible says, "For I know what I have planned for you, says the Lord. I have plans to prosper you, not to harm you. I have plans to give you a future filled with hope." Boy, I murdered that one. But you get it. I have plans to give you a future filled with hope. Oops. So that's one of the translation thingies. And another one is the NIV. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Okay, yay, totally, absolutely, awesome. I get it. But, and I know you know this, but when you look at this during the time frame that God told Jeremiah to tell Israel this, wow, kind of not typical time frame, I guess. I mean, God's really good at bringing the positive and reminding us that he loves us and he's going to take care of this and all that stuff when we're in these difficult, stressful times. But wow, this was a big one. So Israel, pretty much Jerusalem, Judah had decided, well, we've got God over here in, the temple, and we've got the artifacts and all the stuff. So we're good. We got it. We don't need anything more than that. We don't need like this personal relationship thing. We don't really need to pay attention to him. We've got him contained, and we can just go visit him when we need to or when we feel like it. But otherwise, we're going to do our plans. We're going to do our own thing. Yeah, this works. We'll do our own thing. We'll keep God over here, quote unquote, in the little box. And that'll keep him happy, and we'll just keep doing what it is that we're doing, how we want to do it. And it doesn't work out that way at all. In fact, that really kind of upsets God in Jeremiah in the Old Testament. And, still today in the New Testament and in the life that we're living. Because it's when we have our own plans and we decide to follow our own ideas and visit the box on Sunday, which, the box could be considered the church, the building. And then we do whatever and however, and basically we're not interested in a personal relationship with God. We're just going, okay, I'm going to go visit you on Sunday. I'm going to visit you on Wednesday night. I'm going to visit you and have this relationship with you when I get into a place that I need help. And I'm good other than that. Israel ended up getting hauled off to Babylon. To make a really long story, like the longest story in the Bible is what Jeremiah is. It's the longest book in the Bible. To make it really short, God gave them lots of chances and they didn't listen to him. They weren't interested. So he allowed Babylon to come haul them off, and he exiled them, allowed them to be exiled there. And it was not the place they wanted to be. And even in the middle of that, which is what I'm talking about, is where God told Jeremiah to tell them, I know the plans I have for you, to prosper you and not harm you, to give you hope and a future. Isn't that kind of a weird thing to say, in my way of thinking, to the Israelites when they're stuck in Babylon? Because they didn't want to be there. They weren't happy about it, obviously. But at the same time, God knew the plans he had for them. Again, the plans before the foundation of time. And this gets even crazier, because you would not think, okay, you're carted off someplace else because you were not paying attention to the Lord. So you get carted off and you're exiled in another, basically, world. And then God tells Jeremiah in 29:5. Now, notice this is before 29:11. So in 29:5, God says, okay, you tell Israel, build houses and settle down, plant gardens and eat what they produce, marry and have sons and daughters, find wives for your sons and allow your daughters to get married so they too can have sons and daughters. Grow in number, do not dwindle away. Work to see what the city where I sent you as exiles enjoys peace and prosperity. Pray to the Lord for it, for as it prospers, you will prosper. Oh my goodness, does that really sound like, sounds like a plan to me. In the Christian Standard, it says, build houses and live in them, plant gardens and eat their produce, find wives for yourselves and have sons and daughters. Find wives for your sons and give your daughters to men in marriage so that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there, do not decrease. Pursue the well-being of the city I have deported you to. Pray to the Lord on its behalf, for when it thrives, you will thrive. Seriously, isn't that just like God to take a situation that clearly he already knew was happening because these are his plans, and turn it into something where his children, Israel, would actually live and have gardens and children and grandchildren. Wow. Okay, so then when you go further down in Jeremiah, just a little bit further down, it says in 29:12, like literally just the next verse, you will call to me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me. When you search for me with all your heart, I will be found by you. This is the Lord's declaration, and I will restore your fortunes and gather you from all the nations and places where I banished you. This is the Lord's declaration. I will restore you to the place from which I deported you. We can rest in that, even though it is incredibly difficult when we're in the middle of a hot mess and can't see, the next step in front of us. But because of him, because of his great love, because of who he is and what he is and how he feels and who he is for us, we can prosper. We can live. We can have life and good relationships within this time frame that seems like this is not working. I mean, it's Paul when he's in prison and is content. This is what we're talking about because Paul knew the plan God had for him. He knows the plan for all of us. So it's that word that we know of as Shalom. And that word means peace and safety and prosperity and well, and all is right and all is fine and unharmed and yes and benefit and confidence and safe and open and righteous. And I could just go on because there's tons of them in here when you look up the word Shalom. So that's what I'm saying. God is giving us this plan. He has this plan, and it's for welfare and peace and prosperity. He's already got it. What I want to really impress here and hopefully leave you with is when we look at Jeremiah 29:11 and all of those pretty memes and things that are put up, is just stop right at the very first phrase that says, I know the plans I have for you. Just stop right there and realize if it didn't say anything else, that is our peace. That is our foundation, that having this personal relationship with God, having this relationship with Christ is, I know the plans I have for you. And when we stop there, everything else is everything else. And it's great, but it's everything else.